Guten Tag, Herr General. It's good to see you returning to active service. I trust you've been keeping your skills sharp in the years since our campaign in France, yeah? You're going to need them. Because tomorrow we will be joining in Operation Barbarossa, the largest invasion the world has ever seen. Your unit's transfer to Lublin is complete, and you are now formally operating under Army Group South Command. Field Marshal von Rundstedt believes that your advance through the Ukrainian SSR will keep enough pressure on the Red Army for Army Groups North and Center to complete their objectives at Leningrad and Moscow. Destroying the Red Air Force early should be a top priority. Focus on these air bases here, here, and here. Drive a path deep into the Soviet Union, but make certain you have enough firepower to deal with large concentrations of Soviet armor you will inevitably encounter. Also, our Romanian allies are ready to advance along the length of the Prut River. See if you can make good use of them to strike vulnerable Soviet flanks. As a final reminder, because it has been over a year since your last operation, be sure to check the equipment stocks of your troops. You wouldn't want to send them into Russia with obsolete weapons.
No, I'm sure I wouldn't. Hello everyone and welcome back once again. Time for Panzer Corps 2 with the third mission of Barbarossa. And interestingly enough, I got this same hero that I got starting the Africa Corps campaign. Now that must mean that somewhere along the lines the RNG for getting heroes changed, because the heroes are determined at the start of the game randomly. I guess they did it because that's more convenient and more easy, instead of doing it at the start of every mission randomly. Like, it's less lines of code that you have to make, I guess. Yeah, there seems to be yet another area where this branches, and that might be, or when that RNG changes, and that might be when you choose like a path or something. I don't know. It seems to have changed after Africa, so that's weird. We'll see if after this I get Avenger, then there's definitely somewhere where that shifts. Bit weird how that works. On the topic of laziness, I read today on the forums that one of my pet peeves is the missing major minor victory paths. Basically, they removed those, and they also removed end briefings, or the strategical briefings, from this game. And I heard today from one of the designers that they didn't have enough time, or they were unable. There were plans to implement this, but like end briefings, but they didn't make it, which means that they basically just they ran out of time, or they basically they don't have end briefings in this game because of money reasons. And I'm like, wow, that's like, why do your that's just favorite games, because I really think Panzer Corps 1 was great, but then they made a follow-up, and then basically its design choices are, very important design choices are basically run by just money, and it's just it's kind of saddening, actually. It just that really sucks. And I know that other people might not see it, and they might be like, oh well, the game's great as it is. It's like, oh, I love it, it's amazing, I can't have any criticism whatsoever because I'm a fanboy, or something like that. But yeah, I think that's always a shame when you see things like that, critical elements of the game, or things that for you make a game really fun, gets cut because of because they want the game to be cheaper and they want to get more money. That's just basically the whole plan. And I'm actually quite sure that's also the reason why they didn't put any major minor victory system in there, because it takes a lot longer to program a major minor victory path for each mission. You know, make the game actually more branching than the linear game it is now. Let's not act as if the game is not linear, because it is. It's a lot more linear than Panzer Corps 1 and even more linear than Panzer General, which was the least linear of all three of them, at least in the base game. That's probably also why they cut that system. They probably cut the major minor victory system because of money. Because it's much easier to just make a linear system where you have only win and lose and you don't have to do anything else. And then you also don't have to do, additional briefings and things like that. It probably saves you a lot of money, and that's why they cut all of that stuff. So you strip all of the additional stuff from the game in order to make it cheaper, and you don't balance things in this game, like for example the recon units being as powerful as my tanks, as we've seen before, things like that. It just makes everything easy, and it's just, I think it's sloppy work, and I know that other people aren't critical of this game. That's how I feel. Like, I feel that other people aren't critical of a product that they receive, and then they berate other people for actually being critical, and act as if you shouldn't, because they like the game, and then it should be good enough for everybody, and people shouldn't complain. Well, I like to actually call people out on it, especially if they start lying to you as to what the actual reasons are. Like, they claim they don't want this major minor victory system because supposedly people don't like it, or people don't like end briefings. It's like, well, that's absolutely bogus, because why would you use that argument about people not liking the major minor victory system, and that's why you removed it, if you implement a major minor victory system in this game anyway, regardless, but then only do it for 2 missions? Right? So that's obviously a lie. Which, makes me even more frustrated, because I don't like being lied to. Like, I understand that it's not a socially desirable answer to say that, or comment, basically, like you're cutting your own fingers by saying that you did it for money. And I get that. It's not nice to say that you wanted more money and that's why you cut on that stuff, and people will dislike you for it. I get that, and that's why you don't want to say it. But I still don't like that people lie for that kind of reason, even if I'm just buying a product like that, because I have certain expectations of a product, and then that product kind of doesn't meet my expectations, and that's kind of a shame, I think. And since I'm probably the only person to voice his or her opinion about the game, or at least I'm the only person who is critical at certain aspects of the game, it seems like, or vocally at least a little bit, that feels even worse. Even though, I'm also not always right about everything. I also make my mistakes and things like that, but I do try to own up to them most of the time, at least anyway. But it does not really seem like these guys are doing that as well. Right, so they probably have units close to that airfield, which I might be able to attack this way. Same for that airfield. And let's see, I need to deploy you, and then I still have 2 tanks. That's actually as a pioneers. Let's actually switch this for this. Right, I've deployed my units for this mission. That's enough complaining for one episode probably, so let's just call it at that. I think people know my standpoint by now. Like, I'm just disappointed that they chose money over you know, making an actual better game. And I understand they're a company, fine. Sure enough, but I still feel like a bit cheated out of getting a better game. Especially, yeah. Since the previous installment was just that good. You know, it's just a downgrade, it feels like. Anyway, my tactics. I think that what I want to do is rather just defend with the Romanians a little bit more over here and here. Just try to very slowly potentially cross the River Prut, making our way to the Dniester. Whereas these forces take Przemysl, take Lvov, and then move towards Tarnopol. Tarnopol, I thought it was Tarnopol with an O. So, it might be a mistake, might not be. Then Vinitsa, and basically these guys will just go and swing down, basically. If I can, these guys can go and swing up, potentially. And then these guys are moving upon Zhytomyr, but basically this will be one big group moving down this line simultaneously. Like, they want to move in conjunction against, which is probably going to be a very hefty armored force, I think. I purchased this extra 5cm puck because I want extra dedicated anti-tank units down here, even though we have the Stur Emil over here as well, which is comparatively an absolute monster, it seems like. Yeah, their stats are nuts. At least the defense is really high. I think they can even go toe-to-toe with T-34s there. Oh right, a hero. I need that counter battery unit. Not that it really matters. I've seen that only once in the Africa scenario there. Actually happen. Yeah, I want to keep a few core slots. Okay, so we got those guys. Alright, let's do it like this. You there, you here, then attack. What does it do? Put them to 3. Alright. Use a bomber. 2-9, huh? Well, doesn't get any better. That really sucks. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 2.8, 3.6, 4.6, so then it can't move back. 0.8, 1.6, 2.4, 3.2, 4.2, and then they're stuck. So whichever unit I use... Alright, let's use these, because they have a much better attack against the regulars there. Yeah, they can't move anymore. So they will have to rebase. You cannot get in there to attack. No. If I attack from this side, I think they'll just retreat over in here. Yeah. But I think that's fine, actually. They also have a cavalry out there, huh? Well, that's fine, I think. Yeah. Alright, let's go further down. So... okay. And... let's try to cross somewhere where they would have difficulty seeing my unit. Maybe they can actually be of some use. Let's transfer these, or maybe I don't need to. Oh, yeah, I don't. In order to bomb that. Because they're on a bridge, so they're gonna take a lot more damage. Which would be nice. Alright. Oh. I see. Alright. Let's do that first. Because, well, they still have a movement of 2. Still... I shouldn't have done that. That was a mistake. Yeah. Especially because they're both pioneers. Alright, so... they can technically attack the Stug, but I don't really care about that. Because they're not going to be able to damage that anyway. I think probably like these guys don't move. They don't even do anything. Like in the previous episodes, it seems like indeed. So I can take advantage of that by attacking some of these guys freely. Which will make things a lot easier for me. And attack this bomber. Okay, they also have another one down here. So there are multiple units which I still need to finish off. This is covered enough, that's fine. Like, I can already see it happening that these guys try to go in here, they'll move here, get stuck, but not get ambushed. And then they'll just attack the pioneers here, making me get huge losses. So that's definitely not good indeed. They do have units there, but they can't reach that yet. Okay, well that's probably good for me. Or not really. Oh, they're attacking the recon. Okay. Well, recons are cheap, so that's not too bad. Not too bad at all. Fairly surprised that they claim that they don't fight back, even though there's no initiative difference. Like, how can they claim that these have a less than 50% chance of dealing damage to my pioneers? I find that highly dubious, but I'm actually interested to see why they think that is, and I'm gonna attack even though I think I'll get a damage. Yeah, exactly. So why do they think that I'm not gonna take any damage? Because my intuition of the game's statistics say differently. Attackers initiative 4 and their initiative is 3. Didn't they have a regular 2? That's odd. And this was also regular, right? So let's actually check here. Here they have base initiative 4 as well. But how? Oh, mass attack. Okay, right. But mass attack from what? From the recon? From this tank. Okay. Yeah. So I will attack first. Blah blah blah, that's irrelevant. Here, regular strikes, one shot, 67% accuracy with a 65% chance. So if we assume then that 10% kill chance on this gives you 6.7. So it's 36 plus 4.2. Yeah, so slightly below 50%, huh? Okay. Fair enough. They aren't 2 stars of experience apparently yet. No. Alright. But with such a high chance to get damage anyway, it's not surprising that I did take some damage there. Alright, I'm happy enough that these guys went crazy like that. Anyway, so I can get some overruns here. That's nice. Whee! Alright. That's enough ridiculousness. Problem is that I cannot take that airfield this turn. I don't like it. But I should position myself to actually get it. Let's see if I can do some other stuff first, though. 1 and 3, huh? So I actually just got some bad beats with these guys. Ugh. Man, these guys are not lucky. Not lucky at all. Yeah, and I can't retreat them actually now. Kinda sucks. Oh well. Let's try to cross here where they're out of sight. Because apparently these guys ain't really moving. I think maybe the odds might be too low for them or something. Alright, well, I do need to take that airfield, but... this thing is the biggest problem. Movement of force, 0.8, 2.6. Oh no, 1.6, 2.4, 3.2, 4. This is pretty much the limit of where they can go. So my units should be safe. But I do need the anti-aircraft in this position. What would they do? 0 and 2? And this one as well. How about you? Also 0.2. Let's have these guys up front. And you there. I don't like it. But one thing I can do is actually rebase them to still attack. I think that's pretty useful. Alright, nice. They might go in here though and then take it back. That would be pretty bad actually. Well, I don't think so. They're basically on that victory axe, so it's not very likely they would do such a thing. I'll just move like this for now. So all of those guys are dead. This is a free attack that I'm quite... I'm putting my anti-aircraft here. You have a range of 2. Because yeah, it's the artillery. It's cost 100 and it has 8 hard attack. Given that these guys have 14 ground defense, that means that they have a 10% chance with each hit to... Well, they do have this ability where it's suppressing fire. The bigger part of damage automation is coming from suppression, so I don't think they have that high of a chance. Let's go and do this anyway. It doesn't really help super much, but every little bit is good. And they did get another star, which is especially important on guys like this, and it gives some suppression to these guys because they will get 3 suppression at the beginning of their turn, so that's nice. And isn't this one also with counter battery fire? So if this one attacks any of these other ones, they will fire back. So I expect that to end quite well for me. Oh right, they needed to move a bit further. That was stupid. My bad. Definitely my bad. There's nothing that can see that. I'm gonna attack these guys next turn. Sure, let's do it like this. Now, because I know that the enemy doesn't actually like fight back, I think I still want to go for the bomber, which I think is most dangerous. Okay, so they also have tanks there. Like, if the fighters attack me, that's definitely not as serious, I think. Also, especially because fighters are cheap. Right, well, I can do this because no consequences. Not that I'm aware of. Okay, I have no targets for that, but the Storch can do a bit of reconnaissance. Okay, so they actually have quite a lot of units coming in. Let's move you further up the road, and I need to take that airfield though, so let's actually go in here with the recon. Yeah, they... Oh, what? They are already... What? But they repaired and moved. What? That doesn't make any sense. What? Screw this game. Like, changing the rules in the middle of a scenario. Yeah. Changing the rules in the middle of the game is a really fun game. Screw this. That's just a pile of trash. That really pisses me off. It's like you're in the middle of a game of Monopoly and you get on somebody's street that they own or whatever, and you're supposed to pay money, and then they suddenly say, "Oh, we changed the rules. You have to pay double now," out of nowhere. It's like, yeah, that's not actually fair, you know. That's not how a fair game works. So they're kind of just, yeah, that's pretty shitty. Alright, well, unbelievable. I'm lucky that I didn't take more damage as I did, because that is some grade A BS. Alright, let's push you through. There we go. Tag them. Now I can use the other engineers to finish them off. Do a shell a second time now. Yeah, sure. Like, but for these regulars, the actual chances of dealing damage are higher than 50%. So then I'm curious what the difference is between this regular and the other one. So Attacker has access to the defender's close defense rating. Oh, this was a regular infantry. Yeah, the thing about cities now is that infantry, which is in close terrain, always shoots at an enemy with close defense rating. Always, even if the enemy is out in the open, like this, for example, which is a new mechanic, and an interesting one at that. Okay, I think this should be pretty solid. If you ask me. And that also allows me to rebase the aircraft here and immediately attack. I think things are a bit more complicated up here in the north though. Well, practically anywhere where enemy armor might arrive. Still, I think even for this Panzer 4D to move there, it's okay. Oh, if this is covered by anti-aircraft. What if I do that? Let's see where you end up. Oh, there. Okay. It's a bit of a guesswork. But it's fine. It's like I can kill these guys, I think, without too much trouble. As long as these pioneers end up in there. So as of a unit with 1 strength going up against 8 defense, they should have a 5% chance of actually dealing in damage, right? No, they have 15. Effective defense 6. Huh? But am I not attacking from a city? So shouldn't that be close defense? Wait, I'm in a town, right? So, like, I'm attacking. Like, this is my ground defense. It's my attack, their defense rating. Like, I understand that because I attacked them out in the open, we should be using the regular defense ratings. That's what happened here. My pioneer attacked these guys outside, and we used my ground defense, their regular ground defense, and just base attack ratings. And because this is just 6, it's 15, yeah. Whereas here, the pioneer strikes at the guy in close defense rating. My attack is 8, their effective close defense is 0. And we used their attack and my close defense rating. No. Huh? The attacker doesn't have access to my close defense rating at all. because my close defense rating is 8 and not 6, which is my ground defense. So why does the game claim that it has access to my close defense rating where it clearly doesn't? Oh man, this game is such a big mess. Who did any beta testing on this? I've had some issues with the Gebirgsjäger in the previous mission too, now that I started noticing these combat odds. Like, there are so many mistakes in this. My god. Like, I understand that most of the beta players, they just want to play the game early and they don't actually do proper beta testing. That's why I'm against a system where you ask the community to do beta testing, because I think most of the people just want to play the game early and that's it. And then maybe they indeed say stuff like, oh yeah, well, I kind of like it, or that mission was really hard, so we should make it easier, or something like that, which is not real. I mean, it's part of beta testing, kind of, but it's not in-depth beta testing. Which means that you'll get a lot of bugs and mistakes in your final product because you haven't done actual proper beta testing like people used to do when I was a kid, where they actually paid these kind of people in order to do that for you. Not that these people got paid a lot, but at least they got paid some, and that made the games a lot better and made them have a lot less bugs than they do nowadays. At least obvious bugs. But this makes no sense. So that's another one for the forums, because this is definitely not right. Especially if we then go back to this Wehrmacht infantry back here, which attacked those guys on the ground. The enemy was once again in the city, and it was a regular. So we got this, let's actually take that regular here, yeah. Stats of the regular, 11 defense, 0, so it actually does calculate their close defense rating if I'm attacking them inside the city. But then they attack back, wait, it's this attack, and now they do take my close defense. So I attack an infantry in the city and it works as the game states, but then I'm attacking the anti-tank unit and it doesn't work as the game states. Right. And then people are surprised that people like me get frustrated with the game, because it just doesn't work the way the game tells you to. And then people are surprised that you know, I get pissed when I constantly experience stuff like this that just doesn't make any sense. But this relates a lot to what I said at the start of this episode, actually. So we know that they have counteroffensive coming, so I did prepare there. I need to prepare here too. I need to put the Stur Emil at the base of my defenses. And this infantry doesn't need it that much, so this is actually secure. And if I want to have a proper defensive system here, probably best off give the Stur up front. And having the 3F on this flank, because it's the weakest of the tanks. Then I would say enemy can't go through the swamp, so this is effectively blocked. This is covered by air, that's good. Okay. Sure. And let's move you forward 1 hex. They can save on some of that fuel and such. That's gotta hurt. Wonder if they get prestige for that. It doesn't. Oh yeah, they're at 500 from that one attack, huh? Well, they did perform admirably against that PT-7, that's for sure. Wow, that's extreme to hit all 10 coin tosses. Jeez, alright. Huh. I can probably keep attacking this guy forever because they're gonna keep repairing it. I do have a bomber here as well. Well, they still have a crazy amount of tanks here, so I would probably just be best off trying to lure them out. Which I just messed up. It's funny how quickly you can actually shoot yourself in the leg by doing... They cannot go through these two at least now anyway, but they could technically still attack there, that if I put a unit in here. Now there doesn't seem to be anything at that airfield. Good. But I do want to investigate that airfield as well. So they will go up here, they'll get attacked by this, and then, like, they could also go in here, technically. Like, if I put this artillery here, they're guaranteed to conveniently move in there. So that's definitely a no-go. That's also not an option. And if I put the recon in there, they will guaranteed attack the recon. Now, what is their odds of dealing damage to this anyway? They have 13 attack, they have 14 defense, so 35 with each hit. And then for them it's also a lot, that's 20 per hit. Wow. That's a serious problem. The only way I can negate that is by moving the pioneers in here. And they have 13 defense against their 12 attacks. There's also 35% chance of getting damage per hit. Which again is nuts. Like, the defense on my units is so low. Yeah, now they cannot go into this hex. They'll be blocked here. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is that worth it? With the recon into... Yeah, sure. Oh, they can actually move 2 hexes. That's a lot better, because now if they move it, there will always be an ambush. Well, that's good. Yeah, it sucks that I could see it from there, but these guys are away from this now, I suppose. Well, they're dead. Oh well. How is that not an ambush? I mean, I got a good hit in there, but I'm surprised that they didn't get ambushed by that. Like that T-26 was gonna get wrecked, but... Rank up on initiative is 2 for them, but not for me. Guess, indeed. Strikes, 44% accuracy. They were still gonna deal some damage, though. Like, again, I don't understand why they don't take their close defense rating. Forest is close terrain. So, if they attack me with their 12 attack rating, 12 soft attack, sorry, 12 soft attack. Why does it take my regular defense and not my close defense? Because I'm in close terrain. They're attacking my unit in close terrain. Why does it affect my regular defense? I don't get that. I'm in close terrain and it doesn't use the close defense rating. But then if I attack, I am using their close defense rating. Huh? Or am I just reading this wrong? In close terrain, infantry units and other units with close combat trait, close combat, shoot against the opponent's close defense rating, which is usually much lower than ground defense. But it technically doesn't say that if we use my close defense rating. In close terrain, infantry units and other units with close combat trait shoot against the opponent's close defense rating. Only infantry units do this, and other units with close combat trait. So an anti-tank unit or something would not make use out of that. Once again, because that's distinctly different from how it used to work. Shoot against the opponent's close defense rating, but you keep your own. So again, say that my infantry is in the woods, then its regular defense would be used if it gets attacked by an enemy, but my infantry attacks that unit against its close terrain damage. Whereas the reason why infantry then is, I guess, bad against, because infantry has 0 close terrain, so defense. So then only if infantry attacks, if infantry attacks other units in close terrain, that's bad, because the other infantry unit gets to use my infantry unit's close terrain rating, which is 0. So Wehrmacht infantry is very bad at attacking units inside a forest, but it's actually good at defending the forest because it uses its regular rating. Alright, I get it. Gee, that was difficult. Yeah, it was. Okay, so my cavalry is dead, but let's cross now. Oh wow. Yeah, I'm not paying 100. Still need to block this though. Only if I'm super lucky and they repair both of these might this cavalry survive. Alright, well, we defeated some of the enemy, but I have to be careful because once again I want to stay outside of there. Well, what I want to do here is you here, and you there. So that if they attack in that fashion, I'm actually safe. Once again, I'm just only moving them up by 1 hex. Right, there's no anti-aircraft there either. So I have free reign. It's a lot of tanks. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, a bunker. So they can't see that now. I'm curious to see what will happen though. And they do have an anti-aircraft gun there with range 2, so they can already attack the storage, so I don't want to get too close. I'm frisky. Yeah, there they come. Oh well. Huh. Wow, that's some crazy damage. Oh, whoa. It's a lot of movement. And again, why doesn't the artillery help out against my tanks? This is very crazy. Still okay. T-34 is gonna hit the most. Ambush. Poor result, actually. Really poor. Ah, screw that. I really forgot about that. Luckily only 1 damage. But still, I forgot about their ability to use phased movement now. It got off relatively unscathed though I'm quite curious to see why that attack against the T-34 was so weak. I get to attack all the time, and their close defense rating, which is 0. So in theory, should have done like 6 to 7 damage, so it's just a real low hit. Yeah, because I got such a low roll, I killed very little enemy T-34s, whereas I should have hit like 6. Then they should have had 4 left with accuracy 13, and they still got really lucky at that as well. Hitting 3 out of their 8 with 13, whereas they should have actually hit only 1. Man. Wish I could play like that. Just be super lucky all the time. At least these guys got 1 star of experience now, that's nice. And this should be surrendered very easily over here. Let's make sure that it happens. And one good thing, I guess, about it is that now I can make the T-34 surrender. For some juicy prestige. One thing that I think is a shame is that you can't go back to your original setting. Really? They have the same initiative? Ah. Well, even the BT has 7. Everything has 7. Well, their armored attack has been beaten, so... Let's see, they have an attack of 12 against my 20, so they cannot touch the Stur Emil. As far as I'm concerned. Alright, let's check that in the combat data. Oh, they just... the efficiency, or the initiative difference is also crazy. And because these guys, they don't suffer any penalty in, like these guys do. Yeah, they have 12 initiative, but the towed anti-tank units, you can see that here. Oh, I thought they lost accuracy. Oh, but they skipped the initiative calculation. Alright, well. Never mind. I've said nothing then. Alright, this guy is still left. First, though, I think it might be prudent to... go after them. Oh, it's great. I can still split them up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Huh. Very useful. Alright, they'll go to 6, and thus I don't really see them doing a whole lot here. Yeah, they can still trace supplies from there, but I don't really... Yeah, they're done. Okay. They need to stay there, and these guys, they have heart attack of 13. So that means that with every attack they have like 5% chance to deal any damage against the Stur Emil. That's fine. I can accept that. This is a bit trickier though. It's quite vulnerable. Can you please kill them? No. Neither did they. Yeah, they repaired both of these. So maybe I can get them back, but otherwise I'm in trouble down here. Yeah, I'm not doing very well here. This is fine. Okay. But that's artillery? I'm actually quite disappointed that these guys attacked the Stur Emil because, well, that just means that they die. BT-7A. Oh, it's an artillery, huh? Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna call it quits here for now, and I thank you all for watching. Do hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, please leave a like, comment, or subscribe, and please apologize for my ranting again, although this time it's not about actually in-game mechanics. Well, in a way it is. It's the lack of certain in-game aspects, I suppose. Yeah, thanks for watching. Take care. See you next time. Bye-bye.